My childhood hero growing up was Batman. I'm not exactly sure why Batman was my favorite childhood hero. I think maybe it has something to do with that he was just a regular dude and he just used the tools that he had on him and the skills to help people around him. Who's seen the new movies like the Avengers and stuff? Who's seen that? Yeah? You guys like it? Yeah. Well, actually, I hate the Avengers. Big call, I know. Now that I got your attention. I don't enjoy the Avengers. And I think the reason why is because when I watch a movie, I quite enjoy the origin story, the backstory, how that character became who they are, the challenges and adversities that they went through to form the character that they are today. Toastmasters and guests, tonight I will be telling you my origin story. With all good origin stories, there has a little bit of adversity. Like Harry Potter, who lived with his abusive aunt under the staircase. I had a touch of adversity in my life as well. I had a blessed childhood, but there was a little bit of adversity. You might not see it now, the person you see standing in front of you, but when I was a child, I was actually really fat. At my peak, I was close to 100 kilos. I remember back in my primary school days, I was one of only 4 Asian kids in my school, and I always had a really deep sense that I wanted to fit in, to belong, because I was a bit different. I was fat and different. I remember I went to one of my friends' home. He was one of the other Asian kids in the house. And that night, the family had organized some pizza to be delivered and for us kids to eat. And that evening I had about 16 slices of pizza. I thought it was normal at the time, but the family was just giggling. And I was like, oh, this is a lovely time, it's a lovely family. And the grandmother of my friend, she doesn't speak English, and I believe she speaks Mandarin. And she called me a really cute nickname. I think it was something like Fatal. And I'm like, oh, I got a cute nickname. And I asked my friend, oh, what's this nickname mean? And he told me, it means fat boy. So I didn't really belong, and because I was a bit different, I was bullied from time to time. I was fat and bullied and didn't really belong. So you may think that I had something going for me. Maybe like I was really smart or something. Maybe I was the Asian kid in the class where you copied from because I was smart. Not really. My friend Rashad can attest. Back in my early days of high school, I was actually a really slow learner. In primary school, I was put into the special education class, the special ed class, they called it, because I was slow and I had needed more time to develop. I was so slow that I didn't even know at the time I was in the special education class until a few minutes later. Transitioning into high school, my mum was actually really worried about my education and how I would progress. She didn't tell me until recently that she had sleepless nights. She couldn't sleep because she was worried about my future and who I would become. So she enrolled me into tutoring classes to try to catch me up with my peers. She also didn't tell me that my tutor pulled her aside one day and told her that just be expected that John probably won't do very well in his exams. Just keep that in mind. In high school as well, I had a friend with best intentions come up and told me that you should probably consider dropping down to the lower class because your marks will drag everyone else's average down. So with all these people telling me that I was not doing very well, I figured I had to pull up my socks. So it took a long time. So I'm still a slow learner. I had to figure out a way to overcome that obstacle. So when I studied, I had to write down, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10 times before I remembered, before something sunk into my brain. So despite what my mum thought, despite what my teachers thought, all my friends, I somehow finished Year 12 in the top 4% of New South Wales. And so, with all good origin stories as well, there is a pull to the dark side. Like Luke Skywalker was pulled to the dark side, the power and the allure. I was also pulled to the dark side in high school. In about year 8, I somehow found myself in the popular group. And the reason I got myself there was because I was able to make the people in that group laugh. And the way I made them laugh was I made fun of people. I didn't realize at the time that I had become the bully I was scared of in primary school. So I was very egocentric. I didn't think outside of myself at that time. I thought that if I was laughing and people around me are laughing, everything's all good. Until one evening, one day on the basketball courts at school, I was making fun of someone because they were awkward and tall. And I was laughing, and then something unexpected happened. He started to cry, and I had no idea what to do. I felt really uncomfortable inside, and something just didn't sit right anymore. So after that day, I couldn't go back to the cool group. I just couldn't make them laugh. It just didn't feel right. So I actually removed myself from that group, and I made friends with the people that I was mean to. I apologized, and we actually became really good friends. Ever since after that, if I saw someone getting bullied, I would see from 2 points of view, the bullier and the person being bullied. I would, diffuse the situation and sometimes just sit down with the person being bullied and just get the heat off their back from time to time. So how does my story end? Do I turn to the dark side? Or do I turn to the light? You'll have to listen on to my next speech, where I continue on, where I will discover my superpower, and also I challenge my supervillain.